So, thank you all for coming. Hare Krishna. This is a sacred place. It's a spiritual haven within this material world which we are situated in. It's a place for enlightenment, where we can cultivate and understand higher knowledge, higher principles in life, where we can understand the goal of life and what is the actual purpose of existence in this material world. So first of all, I'll ask if anyone has any questions they would like to ask a member of the Hare Krishna movement about deeper things, about the meaning of life, the universe, maybe everything. And then we can try to give some answers if anyone has anything you'd like to know. So if anyone has any questions, you can ask. Yes, sir.
What is enlightenment? How does one know whether he or she is enlightened?
Okay. So to understand what is enlightenment, you want to go a little bit deeper to elaborate exactly what it is you?
We have all come here for enlightenment.
Yeah.
So we take something here, we go and apply a few things in real life.
Yeah.
And we should be able to know, like, alright, we are on the right track, we are towards enlightenment, or are we caught up in the ego of, yeah, we are all enlightened.
Yeah.
Kind of confusion that terms creates and in the real world when you actually apply a few things.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. So, what is enlightenment? Can anyone help me? Does anyone know the answer to this one? What is enlightenment?
Pure consciousness.
Very good, pure consciousness. That's a correct definition. Very good. Anything else?
Inner peace.
Inner peace, yeah. Inner peace is a result of enlightenment or a symptom of enlightenment. Very good.
To be with Krishna.
To be with Krishna, yeah. Very good, that's correct as well.
Acceptance.
Acceptance, yeah. That's also another symptom of one who is enlightened, is accepting. Very good. Anything else? So the definition of enlightenment is to understand the difference between matter and spirit, or the difference between what is temporary and what is eternal. That is enlightenment, that is the real definition. In other words, our body, which we find ourselves within, trapped within at this point in time, this is temporary. This is just a temporary, we could even say it's an illusion to an extent. The body is real, it exists, we're experiencing this now, it is real. It's not that it's not real, but it is temporary. Your body will only last maximum 100 years, if you're fortunate. Most people don't even, the average these days is 77 or something like that. So most people will not live a long life. So that is temporary. Your body actually in eternity, if you look at time in the eternal spectrum, the amount of time that we live in this body on this planet is very small. It's insignificant actually, in comparison to eternity. It is just a temporary situation. So we are just transiting, or we're just passing through, and at this point in time we happen to be in this body which is temporary. That is why it is called illusory. There's something which is temporary, ultimately that's illusion. Whereas the soul, or the person within the body, who we actually are, that is eternal. We are eternal. We are not born, we do not die. Krishna teaches this in the beginning of the Bhagavad Gita, the ancient teachings from India. That for the soul there is no birth nor death. Krishna gives a nice verse in the second chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. He said, one who is born is sure to die. One who dies is sure to be born again. So we are eternal. Although we're fearful of death is called asmita. Asmita means like it's an inherent fear of death. You see sometimes. Do you see when people are working in the ICU, when you see people die? You must see people die regularly. Are they generally fearful or generally peaceful? What's the...
They can be both. So it depends on what they've come to terms with. Some people are fearful and some people aren't. Some people they know that this is their time, they've come to terms with it, and they just pass away where, no, people they're not ready to die. They don't feel that they've fulfilled their purpose on this earth. So it's a very unsettling time.
Yeah, so sometimes people are very peaceful. That means that they've understood that they will not die. Death is just a transformation. Just like birth is a transformation. Growth is a transformation. We produce byproducts, children, that's a transformation. We get old, that's a transformation, and then we die, that's a transformation. So one who is enlightened, he is not bewildered or not thinking that this is a negative experience, but rather it's a positive experience because the soul is eternal. So that is enlightenment. When you do not have fear of death, that is enlightenment. That means you've understood the difference between the matter and spirit, the body and the soul. Prabhupada, who was the founder of the Hare Krishna movement, you can see him sitting there on the Vyasa-san. Srila Prabhupada, he was an enlightened soul, and the name he was given at birth by his father was Abhay Charan. Abhay means one who is fearless, one who understands his spiritual identity and therefore does not have any fear. That is enlightenment. Whereas for most of us it is not quite like that. So that's the beginning of enlightenment, to understand. Now, if we understand that we are the soul, not the body, that we are eternal, not temporary, then what is our eternal occupation? If we live forever, what will we do forever? Very good, serve. Yeah, that's the correct answer. Any other answers?
I got a headache before.
What's that?
It's killing me.
You got a headache before?
Yeah,
Okay.
right here.
Okay.
I got a headache.
Do you need some water? Or?
Not really.
You're okay?
It's killing me.
Oh no. Just rest.
Yeah.
That's just, you'll be okay. Okay. Does anyone have any other? Definitely. What will we do eternally?
Be happy.
Be happy? Yeah. Ideally. You should be happy eternally. Anything else?
Learn things as we go through life.
Yeah, continue to learn. Yeah, what will we do? We will develop or learn. Very, yeah. Anything else?
Transform.
Transform. Very good. Very good. Anything else? What will we do for eternity is a long time, so we have to...
Helping other people.
Helping others, very good. Same as the original answer, serving. Yeah, so actually, if we understand we are the soul, the purpose of the soul, or the eternal occupation of the soul, is seva. In Sanskrit, or in Hindi, we have this word seva. Seva means service. You have to serve. If you analyze what you're doing all day, every day, you're serving. That's all we do. Who are we serving? Your dog, your cat, your children, your parents, your boss, ourself. That's who we serve most of the time, ourself. Right? So that is basically what we do. If you look all day, we're just serving. That's all we do. We're created to serve. We're simply servants. So then, if we are simply servants, then how will service give us the ultimate happiness? Because service always gives you happiness. Right? If you're absorbed in yourself, you can never be completely happy. If you're always thinking how to please others, right, then you will be very happy. Right? And if you learn to serve Krishna, that's our understanding of the Supreme God, the Supreme Entity. He's the bluish boy in all the pictures around the room. If you learn to serve Krishna or God, then you will be the most happy. Because that is our source or our origin. You can serve everyone else in this world, right, and try to make them happy, and they'll never be happy anyway. Because the nature of the world. We try to make everyone happy. Anyone successful in their life in making everyone around them happy? Anyone? Anyone? Can you make everyone happy? Right? Very difficult to do, to make everyone happy. That is impossible. Only one person can do that, actually. That's Krishna. God himself can make everyone happy. If we're willing to cooperate. We have to be cooperative. Right? If we're not willing to cooperate, then very difficult. Even he cannot make us happy if we're not willing to cooperate. But if we're willing to cooperate, he can make everyone happy. So that is the goal of service. Ultimately to serve him. And if you serve him, then you'll want to serve all other persons simultaneously. And what is the best way to serve people? What is the best way to serve humanity? What's that?
Give knowledge.
Give knowledge, yeah, very good. Can we go a little deeper on that?
Spiritual knowledge.
Very good, spiritual knowledge, yeah. That's the best way to serve people, to help enlighten them, which is the question you're asking. No? What is enlightenment? If you assist someone else to become enlightened, that is the best service you can render to humanity. No? Otherwise, you'll never feel complete. No? You can feed people, right? You can give them clothes, you can give them so many things, but even if you give them food, clothing, all these things, the next day they'll still be hungry again. Not that we should not do that. We should feed people. Who is the biggest food distribution agency on this planet? Who feeds more people than anyone? Which institute or which movement or which society feeds more people than anyone else on this planet? What's that? ISKCON, yeah. Who? Does anyone know? Any guesses? Who would you think, if you just had to randomly think? Who would you think? Huh? See what?
You guys, the Krishna people?
Yeah, well, I'm trying to look for others first.
Salvation Army.
Very good, thank you. Salvation Army. Salvation Army Key?
Jai.
Salvation, you can say anyone. Salvation Army or, I don't know, Red Cross or anything. Yeah, I don't know if that's free though. Yeah, not free. But actually the biggest food distribution movement on the planet is actually the Hare Krishna movement. Up until 6 months ago, I mean I've been a Hare Krishna for 28 years, but up until 6 months ago I didn't even know that. We feed 1.2 million people every day on this planet. Right? All vegetarian food. Without any animals being slaughtered or hurt. Every day. In India alone, 800,000 every day. 8 lakhs every day. Hare Krishna. It's quite a lot. Right? So that's good. You have to feed people. If people are hungry, they can't listen to you. Right? You know, if everyone had been fasting yesterday, if you haven't eaten for one day, then I'm trying to speak, right? All of you are just thinking, when's this going to be quiet so we can have lunch? You can't speak to a hungry person, but if a person is satisfied, they've eaten properly, but then the best thing you can do is to give them spiritual knowledge, spiritual guidance, enlightenment. That is the ultimate. So we're created as spiritual entities to serve others, particularly by giving them spiritual enlightenment. That is the highest goal. So that is the definition. That is what enlightenment is for, and that's how to give others enlightenment. Would you like to add anything? Is that okay?
One more. Yeah. So would you say that enlightenment is a continuous process? That's something you could easily go today. I read Bhagavad Gita, I hear something, and the energy is all good. But once you go out and face the reality in life, you have to gather the experience and try it again from the scratch. So in that aspect, would you say enlightenment is a continuous process in everyday living, or is there an entity called enlightened? Is there somebody who can be enlightened? Is that a state that's achieved, or it's continuously being achieved?
It's both. It's both. Because once you understand the difference between matter and spirit, or you understand your eternal identity, that's enlightenment. But once you understand that, there's always more to be known. And actually in the Bhagavad Purana, the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, which is on the second shelf at the back, on the bookshelf, in the prayers of the personified Vedas, which is in the 10th section, the 10th canto, around about chapter 90 or so, it states that even God himself, Krishna himself, when he fully understands the extent of his energy or his potency, his power, at that moment he realizes he's more powerful than he imagined. So each moment when he understands his full capacity, he realizes there is more to be known. No? So even he himself, you can say he is enlightened, because he is, by definition, Krishna is. But even he is continuously expanding or growing. So even when we become enlightened, still there's more to know. So both are correct.
Thank you.
Nice question. Your question was so nice today, we'll give you a free dessert. No one else. TK Any other questions? You'd like to ask?
What's the view on...
Yes, sir.
The other day I heard that life is a gift, and I think that, where I grew up in the Catholic religion, I've heard so many times, life wasn't meant to be easy and all this sort of stuff. So, it's an interesting concept, I guess, that this is actually an opportunity for ourselves to expand, and that's why, it's viewed as a gift, or that's what this person was saying, it should be viewed as a gift. What do you guys think of that?
That statement?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, anything which is true, a true statement is universal. So it's not sectarian. So that, the Catholics have one thing, we have another thing, and then the Muslims have another thing, and Buddhists have another. If something's true, it is universal. That's why we're not really interested, even though we call ourselves Hare Krishnas and we dress in a particular way. But actually, what we practice is called Sanatana Dharma. Sanatana Dharma means universal religion, or universal truth, or universal teachings. It's not sectarian. It's not based on oh, well, we believe this and you believe that, or the old joke. You go back to heaven, and all the Catholics are over there, and the Muslims are over there, and the Hindus are over there, and then we get together on Christmas and we all eat together, and then the rest of the time, it's not like that. So something is true will be true for all.
So how do you view that? How does Krishna view life on this earth? As if we say, well, we're a human being having a spiritual experience, is that a gift or is that a burden, or how do you guys see that?
We have to understand the totality of creation. And just like if you look on the globe, if you look on a world map, right, there's different places on the earth. So the place we're in is called Australia, or Australia. In Sanskrit we call it Australia. And then you have, the continents of America, North and South. You have the European continent, you have India, Africa. So different places, Arctic, Antarctic. So in the same way, in the complete creation of everything that exists, there's a spiritual domain, which traditionally in Catholicism you would call heaven. And then there's the lower place, which is where we are now. And in some teachings they talk about a place which is an eternal purgatory or an eternal hell, which actually does not exist. There's no place where you suffer eternally. You suffer in places for periods of time, but there's no eternal suffering. Krishna, God, would not create people, souls, and then they come down to earth for one life. They're born out in the middle of, or like born as an Eskimo, never heard about Jesus or anything, but at the end of their life they go back to the pearly gates and they said, do you believe in Jesus? And the Eskimo says, who are you talking about? No, go to hell forever. Who would do that? And no one in this room would do that to anyone, so why would God or Krishna do that to anyone? It's not possible. So, if we look at the total creation, we're in the material world, and this material world we're in Sanskrit is called Durga. And Durga means prison house. It means place of hardship. In this world is meant to be a reformatory center, like a prison. A prison is a place where you go to learn, to be rectified, so you can live normally in society once again. So according to our teachings, originally we were in the spiritual world with Krishna, and then we came to this material world by misusing independence. We weren't behaving properly, possibly, in the spiritual domain. We came to this world, and then we're meant to learn, as you were saying, to learn that we are the pure servant of Krishna once again, and then we can go back to that world. So is it a gift? Well, if sending someone to a prison is a gift, I don't know if it's a gift. Is it a place to learn? Yes, it is. if you learn the lesson. Many of us are very stubborn and it takes forever practically. Life after life after life. This is not the first time we've done this. This is not the first time all of us have been sitting here in a Hare Krishna temple listening to a lecture. We may have been doing this for lifetimes. And then, you know, one day we might get, oh, wait a minute, I'm meant to serve Krishna, and then enlightenment begins. So it is a place of reformation. That's what this world is. I was saying to someone this morning, I was telling Ari, that our founder, Prabhupada, the founder of the Hare Krishna movement, he said that this material world is like hard wood, and you have to carve Krishna out of it. So it's tough. So hands up if you've had a good week. 1, 2, 3, okay. There was no immediate hands. Everyone had to think, did I have a good week? Yeah. Right? But generally life is challenging. That's the reality. Generally it is challenging. And as we said, you have to learn to make the best use of the bad bargain, or the difficult, the challenges which are there. They're meant for our growth and that, but it's not a perfect existence by any means. The other world is a perfect existence. That's why we shave our head and wear dresses and robes and everything, because we make the sacrifice to get to that world. But we understand in this world you'll never be completely happy and satisfied, because by definition you cannot give complete happiness or satisfaction. So we just use it as a means to an end, just to get back to the spiritual world. Yeah. Just like one person said to me recently, if life gives you lemons, you make lemonade. That's what the world's like. You just get lemons, that's sour. Now you've got to learn how to make something good out of it. How to help the difficulties to help you progress, that's the point. But the point is we don't have to be going through what we're going through now. We chose to leave the other place. We can also choose to go back to the other place. This is not compulsory. This is a wrong turn we made a few million years ago. You want to keep going?
So I guess, like, in what you're saying then, really, that our soul that did something wrong, and this is like an opportunity to rectify that. So but if we had not gone down that path, do you mean like I know, like, you know, you can say we're all connected as one, but there is separation. I don't think we can doubt that. So was it my soul did something wrong, so I'm here, so to speak, as recompense for that?
Yeah, I mean, we're all individuals. We're not one. There's no one who's one, like, I'm not you, you're not me. We're individuals. Krishna, God, is the original individual, the most powerful individual. He's the fire with the sparks. So we're not one with him. We are not him. He is not us. We are different.
But we're certainly connected.
We're connected by love. Love's the bridge or the connection. That's how relationships are connected. You're connected to people by love. Or in this world, you can be by love or by hate. Raga dvesha. Dvesha means, you know, or, you know, in one day, you can be with someone you love them more than anything, and later on that day you can. Anyone know what I'm talking about here tonight? Yeah. So this is the nature of this world. But in the other world, everything is different, because we willingly try to serve and love Krishna. So it is peaceful based on that. So we chose not to do that. So then he said, okay, go to the other place, get it out of your system. When you're ready to come back, then you can come back. So it is a matter of understanding who we actually are and acting properly, and then you can revisit the other abode. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's our explanation. Yeah, it's logical. That's one thing that's why I became a Hare Krishna devotee many years ago, because it's logical. Because I went to different places and heard from different people and different teachings, but there wasn't always logic involved in everything. It has to be, the truth has to be logical. So whether we accept it or not, that's our prerogative. But it is logical, that's not. Anything else you'd like to add? Or? I'll see if anyone else then. Yeah. Yes, sir.
How do I accept my reality now? So I have a lifespan of say 70 years. I don't know where I'm going, where I've come from, but I'm living in this particular situation. How do I accept it? I can say it can be good or it can be bad, but I'm in middle. How do I, teach myself that whatever is happening to me is right, or this is what I deserve?
Come to terms with it.
Yeah, how can I come to terms with it?
By higher knowledge, when you have higher knowledge, when you understand who you actually are.
All right, but we all are here, we can...
No, the point is, no but. Not the but, all right, no. The point is, we have to understand, you need higher knowledge. Right? As I've already explained, we have to understand we are spiritual by nature. When you understand that, that reconciles everything. Because then, what does Krishna teach in Bhagavad Gita? Matra spashas tu konteya, shishtoshna, shuka dukada, agama payanon nichas, tam tatikshasva, bharata. What does tatiksha mean? Tatiksha means tolerate. So you're in this world. I understand I'm spiritual, but I'm currently in a material form. And this world is full of sukha dukkha. Sukha dukkha means happiness and distress. I have to tolerate. So while you're here, you have to learn to be tolerant. Because the nature of this world, it presses all of your buttons. It tests you to the maximum degree. Does anyone know what I'm talking about here tonight? Everyone's nodding? Okay, we're all on the same page? Yeah. This place is a place to test you, to teach you. But unless you understand, if you build a building, if you don't get the foundation correct, there's no use building a building. It's going to crumble one day. Right? If you build it properly, it goes up, it won't. Just like I saw recently, a YouTube mini documentary thing. So in China, what's that big temple they've got there? What's it called? It's been there for thousands of years. City of the... In China? Anyone know what I'm talking about? It's called the City of the... I just can't remember what it's called. No one knows? Okay. Anyway, so in China, they built this city thousands of years ago. City of the Emperor or something, I can't remember what it's called. Very famous. And China gets hit with a lot of earthquakes. So this city has been through earthquakes for thousands of years. And they even tested it. They made a simulation, the way it's built, put it through a mock earthquake, and the thing, even when they went to 9 on the Richter scale, the equivalent of, the thing doesn't crumble, it moves, and it's like, because the foundation is so well built. So in the same way, if we understand from the foundation that we are spiritual, right, then everything we do in life will be successful. Because you understand this world for what it is. It's a place of testing. It's a place that we're meant to become detached from, and we're meant to become spiritually realized, enlightened. So you can understand all of that by having the proper spiritual knowledge. But otherwise you'll just suffer in this world. If you don't understand that, you'll think, oh, why is this happening to me? Why is that happening to me? No, we understand. We're not meant to be here, we're meant to become enlightened. And then you understand, you tolerate everything along the way. Okay.
Yep.
Yep. Okay. Okay. Any other question? Madam? Yeah.
Okay, so I'm thinking that it's really hard for me to meld the two worlds. Like I'd love to, I'm here in this body, this prison, that I'm trying to live this life. And the only thing I think I can do is, if I wanted to attain that spiritual goal, that enlightenment, would be to give up everything and then to devote myself to Krishna and absorb him and live through him and do what he would do. And so it would be giving up everything, because to me everything is part of the prison, all this physical stuff.
Yeah, congratulations, you just understood everything. Welcome back. So what it means is that we are in this world, So with knowledge, we learn how to live in this world, because as you said, it's all temporary. You can take the whole thing very seriously, but the whole thing is not, it's all temporary, it all just passes. Why do we get so upset about temporary things, which just will pass, right, momentarily? So therefore, if we understand our actual spiritual essence, our actual spiritual identity, then you can merge the two, or you can live with both. While you're in this world, you do have this identity. But you can use that identity to understand your higher identity, so to speak. So that's what we all do, like that. I mean, I'm like a full-time Hare Krishna. This is all I do.
That's what I was going to ask you. You probably do this full time.
I do this full-time.
So the distractions...
No, the distractions there. Distractions are unavoidable. Even for full-time Hare Krishnas, there's always distractions. It's not like you just get into this life and then it's all... Right. The advantage of getting into it full-time like I have is that the distractions are less. You have more equipment to deal with the distractions.
You have the tools because you're learning that stuff.
Yeah, so it's, in other words, it's the best life.
Yeah.
Right? Because, you know, I made a choice when I was 19, I became a monk, I joined the ashram, right? Later on I got married, right? And now, but I still live like a spiritually focused life. Right. Now, not everyone can do that because of various circumstances and reasons, but you can learn by hearing from those who are doing it full-time, those who are, you know, within the world, you know, we're doctors and lawyers and whatever you all, IT and accountants and whatever you all do. Then you can learn how to amalgamate or merge these spiritual teachings into your current position so you can gradually become enlightened. And that's what Krishna teaches in the Bhagavad Gita. He doesn't teach to give everything up, but to spiritualize yourself and gradually purify yourself. Is that making sense? Yeah. So the point is you need guidance. That's the point. How to do it. And that's why, you know, Prabhupada was the founder of our movement. He came to America in 1965. He brought these teachings, and then he grew a movement, a society. The Hare Krishna movement. He was the guru, and now he's set up. So there are so many gurus within our institution who can guide us and give us practical day-to-day how to gradually purify and elevate ourselves. And many of the Hare Krishnas are here, just like Jai Sachi, you work in one of the banks, isn't it? Which one? Westpac. Westpac is the best bank. Right? This free commercial for you right now. This guy is a loan expert. Like that. So, okay, not expert, but like. So he works at, the guy's got a full-time job. He works in a full-time occupation, you know, in the material circumstance. But he's also a full-time Hare Krishna devotee. So he has both. He knows how to. Okay. Yeah. So your comment was you don't know how that works.
I still don't see how you can reckon. Yeah. No.
Okay. So if you ask him, what he'll say, he'd prefer not to be doing that. He'd prefer to just be a full-time Hare Krishna, but he needs to feed his wife, she eats a lot, right? feed his kids, right? And then the mother is there, and then the sister is there, and then the brother is there, and then the one down the road. He feeds a lot of people.
So really it's better to be single.
Really? If you want the answer to that question, the best person in this room to answer that question is my wife.
If you want to devote, if you want to attain that, you have to devote, get rid of everything and do the job.
Okay, so now we need to speak about practical application.
Yes.
Right. Philosophically, what you're saying is 100% correct. I was a monk for 8 years, right? No family, no distractions, didn't have a job, nothing, right? Now that I'm a married person, right, so now I have responsibilities, financial responsibilities, social responsibilities, so many things. So, yeah, which is there. But you can do it, you can do both, right? Satisfy yourself, because the danger is, if you try to renounce prematurely without qualification, you'll fall back. And we've seen many examples of that. People try to renounce everything, I'll be a monk now and just everything, and they end up coming back to the whole thing anyway. In the ancient teachings, there's examples for thousands of years. In the modern world, I've seen it many times. So Krishna recommends take the gradual path, right? Gradually become enlightened. make your way up. You want to climb the mountain continuously. You don't want to get up, so far up the mountain and fall back. You just waste a lot of time and energy. So how to do it, you need guidance, that's all. We're doing it. We're all...
Can I add something to that?
Yes, sir.
Like in some respects, is it like to push yourself, to push all that stuff away that is part of the world and go and, say for instance, go and live in the mountains?
Yeah.
In some respects it's easier to do that than to actually be in the world and not, and be enlightened in the world, not necessarily go out to the woods and never speak to anyone. That's kind of easier, I think.
It sounds easier, hypothetically, but it's actually more difficult like that. But I agree with you, it sounds hypothetically. I wake up some mornings and wish the same thing. I wish I was living in a cave in the Himalayas, no this, no that, no Facebook, no anything. Just like, sometimes you get that desire, but it's not practical, because you will come back.
No, that's right. And I think like to be in this world and to be teaching whatever it is that you should be teaching, you're of better service, I think, in that respect.
Yeah.
Than hiding away somewhere and giving it all up.
So basically what you're saying is you're frustrated, which is natural. Right? That's why I became a spiritualist. I became a full-time Hare Krishna because I was frustrated in the outside world. So I renounced it all, went in like that. If you can do that, that's wonderful. We'll fully support you, and we'll even facilitate it. We have ashrams all over the world where we have people who are living there. They're fully maintained. Like for 8 years, I didn't have to worry about anything. All my clothes, I only wore robes, but all my clothes, all my food, I had a place to sleep every night. Everything I needed was there. So they gave me full facility because I fully dedicated myself. Right? So what we're saying is that may or may not be the best way to do it for long term. Right? But you can do both. There's both ways to do it. But the fact that we're feeling frustrated, that's the impetus to begin spiritual life. So that's a good thing. In the material world, people think, oh, I'm unhappy, I'm going through so many difficulties, that's a bad thing. It's not a bad thing, it's a good thing. It's a catalyst to progress spiritually. So if we're feeling like we're going through some difficulty, it's a good thing. Even myself, like when I go through difficult things, I look at it, that's a catalyst for me to develop, improve, go forward. So it's not a negative thing, it's a positive thing. And in that way, you never become dejected. It's not that it's easy, but it's a positive thing. So you can do it. Don't worry, you can do it. We will help you to do it. TK? Acha. Tik? Okay. So many people to help. And the nice thing about the Hare Krishna movement is that there's people all over the planet to help you. We're not alone. It's like one massive family. I can walk into any Hare Krishna temple. I can go to Belgium, I can go to Chile, I can go to Colombia, I can go to New York, I can go to Paris, I can go to San Francisco, I can go to Fiji, walk into a Hare Krishna temple, I have a community. So we're not alone, there's so many people to help us, to facilitate. And on Tuesday, for the Hare Krishna people, it's the biggest day of the year. It's Krishna's appearance day. It's called Shri Krishna Janmashtami. Shri Krishna Janmashtami ki? Yeah. So we're going up to our temple in Melbourne, our mothership, the base, and we're going to celebrate it there. And there will be, they're telling me there's going to be 10,000 people coming. And we're going to feed every single one of them in 24 hours. Right? 10,000 people.
So is that tomorrow or day after?
In India it's tomorrow. So most people, because they're following the Indian calendar, we're ready for 2 days. We're going to get 10,000 people over the 48 hours, because a lot of people will come and they'll say, so that's okay. But for us, because the Tithi means the time frame, the actual day is Tuesday. Yeah. So you can go either day, because it's the Tuesday in Australia is the actual. So we will feed 10,000 people. Hands up if you could feed 10,000 people. We can do it. That's the power of the Hare Krishna movement. That everyone will get fed. There won't be one person there who will not get fed. All vegetarian food, and we will cook. And then we will cook. And after that, we will keep cooking. And when we finish cooking, we will cook again. And then it practically goes, you know, from 4 in the morning till 12 at night. The kitchen does not stop. These guys are powerful. I see them. Very good question. Thank you.
Will you be fasting?
What's that?
You will be fasting?
And even this shows how much we love Krishna, how much we love God, right? The whole day we don't eat or drink. And we cook and feed 10,000 people, and we personally, as a sacrifice, we don't eat or drink. That's called devotion. That's love. When you love someone, you sacrifice for them. Krishna says, on my birthday, I don't want you to eat or drink. Imagine one of your friends said that to you. Come for my birthday, and you're not allowed to eat or drink. Would you go to the party? I'm serious. Would you go to the party? If you can't eat or drink, but you have to come to the party. And serve me all day.
Wouldn't that be a matter of devotion?
What's that?
Wouldn't that be a matter of devotion?
It is devotion. The reason Krishna does that, right? Because he's the only person who would do that. None of us would do that. Like, on my birthday, I wouldn't say, oh, you come to my birthday, you can't eat or drink. Right? But he does that because he says, okay, you come, but it's not for you, it's for me. Because we have to learn to become selfless and put Krishna first, God first. So he says, okay, you have to serve me all day and you can't eat or drink the whole time. And we do that happily. Except for about 10:30 at night, then our minds start to fluctuate a little. And I start thinking like, yeah, I'm enjoying this. This is great. It's challenging, but we do it. Well, so. Do you want to add anything to that, or is that okay?
No, that's all for now. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? Very good questions so far. We have a little time if you want to ask something else.
I've got one.
Yes, ma'am.
So we're here, we self-realise, we understand the concept of soul consciousness. We're not eating meat, we're not swearing, we're not drinking alcohol, we're not causing anyone pain. We're here to educate and help our fellow man. And then we pass on, we leave our body. Where do we go? Do we go back to Krishna? How many places are there to go from here?
If you come to Hare Krishna Valley on a clear night and you look into the sky and you see how many stars there are, every star in the sky is civilized and populated. They're telling us in the modern scientific reasoning or field or education, they tell us that we're the only life in the universe, probably, and all the others are just chunking, floating masses. No, it's not true. They're all populated and they're all civilized. The civilization of every single star that you see in the sky. And the most prominent of all the planets that we can see is that one, just over there. It's called the sun. The sun is made of fire. What's the temperature on the surface? Is it
It's a bit hot.
How much? 10,000, is it? Okay, so 10,000 degrees, so it's super hot. So if you went there in this current body that you have here, right, you would evaporate. Right? No trace of you. So that shows that there's civilization living there. The body is constituted of the same element as the sun, which means it's fire. Right? There's chariots, there's horses, there's palaces, the whole thing. It's much more civilized than Earth, actually. It's much more enlightened. But the bodies are different. Our body is made of 78% liquid water. Right? It's suitable for this place. You go to Jupiter or Saturn, it doesn't work. Similarly, their bodies come here, it's difficult for them. So, if you die and you've been like, basically what you're saying, from what the list that you just gave, right? It's called good morality. It's just what a good person does. So if you're a good person, you die, you go to a good place. It's that simple. So you go to the sun planet or where everyone's nice and all those kind of things. There's no taxes.
So they're running around in bodies.
Yeah, so basically you just go somewhere within this world. The only way to get out of this world, to go to the eternal kingdom of God, you have to develop love for Krishna or devotion to Krishna, and you have to be exclusively attached to him and give your heart to him fully and fully meditate on him and serve him. Because like you said, you can serve people. We're already serving people. But what are we doing for him? That's the point. So to get to him, you have to dedicate yourself to him. If you're just doing mundane moral things, that's good, but you only go to a higher planet. You don't go to the spiritual world. You don't go to the kingdom of God. So you have to learn devotion. So on Tuesday you come with us, you get up at 3:30 in the morning, you fast all day, you don't drink water, and then some devotion will come. And at 12 o'clock at night we have a feast.
I've got to work.
All of the Hare Krishna people, as I said before, they've all got jobs, right? They take the day off. For us it's Christmas Day, right? They all ring their bosses and they say, I'm feeling really sick. Now actually in Australia, it's interesting, I didn't know this, but in Australia you're allowed, you're allowed one or two religious holidays a year. So if you practice another faith, so you just go to work and you say you're a Hindu, right, which is technically what we are, Hare Krishnas, you by law they have to pay you and you can go to Krishna's birthday. So no, you don't have to work. I'll see you there at 3:30 in the morning. If you like, you're welcome. Yeah. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
Our true life purpose, how do we find it? How do we know we're on the right track?
You need a guru. You need a guru who's enlightened, who understands the essence of everything. Krishna says this in the 4th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Tadvidi pranipatina pariprasnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnana jnaninas tattvadarshana. He must be tattvadarshana. Tattva means truth, darsha means one who sees the truth. So the guru must be one who sees the truth. In other words, everything I spoke, must understand, didn't say matter and spirit, the soul and the body, all these things must be understood. Yeah. If he keeps making noise, it comes up on the microphone.
Okay.
Yeah, just keep it quiet. Otherwise, there's a kids' room at the back. You can still hear the lecture at the back. So if you want to get there,
sure.
Otherwise, all the noise will come up on the mic. Sorry. What was it?
How do we find that person? How do we know we can?
First of all, you have to see what you're looking for. Okay, so there's so many gurus on this planet, right? If you want to become rich, right, you go to JT Fox or you go to one of these guys. You know, there's gurus for that. If you want to become good at sports, right, there's gurus for that. You go to Nathan Buckley, say, I want to become an AFL football player. He's the guru. Right? Whether or not he's going to be the guru at the end of the year, we don't know. He's the guru. So there's so many. So you have to first of all see what you want. Now, if you want true enlightenment, yes, we have gurus who can guide you in that. But first you have to decide what you want. Then, if you decide that's what you want, then you can get the guidance. And they will teach you how to tread the path. Like I have a guru. He's actually physically passed away. But I have other gurus who I can go to, who can guide me on the path.
What if you don't know what you want? How do you find it?
That's a problem.
That's where I'm at.
Yeah, that's a problem. So you got to go look, what do you want? Like what I said today, you have to understand that you're spiritual. Right? Materially, if that's what you want, if you want to become rich or you want to become, whatever. There's so many things in this world. If that's your desire, then you'll gravitate towards the people who are cultivating that desire. If you're after spiritual enlightenment, then you gravitate towards the people who are hosting that, who are giving that, who are teaching that. So you have to, first of all, you have to make a decision. We have to be introspective. We have to really analyze. And it's healthy in life to regularly take time to step aside and think and analyze, what do I want? You have to constantly do that, reassess things. So many years ago, that's what I did. I was only 19, I was young, but I I wanted something more in life. I used to wake up in the morning, you know, I had most of what, you know, was wanted in life. But I just wake up and feel empty. I think I want more spiritually, I want more. So I read this, I visited these people, I talked to these people finally, and then finally I got a Hare Krishna book. My grandmother actually gave it to me. And then I read that, and that really resonated with me. And then I went to visit the Hare Krishna people, and I thought, yes, these are the kind of people that I want to be like. And what they speak, I understand is Sanatana Dharma, or eternal truth. So then I joined, I became, and I shaved my head. And my grandmother said, you know, that wasn't what we meant. You know. I didn't think you were going to take this seriously. And for many years, actually, every time I saw her for many years, she'd always say to me, when are you going to grow your hair? She'd always say this to me, when are you going to grow your hair? But near the end, she said to me, no, this is a good thing that you're doing. In the beginning, like, she didn't really understand, but near the end, she passed away a couple of years ago. And it was interesting, I was speaking to her, we went to see her one time, and you know, like when I first started this, she didn't really have a lot of ideas about what it meant or what it was about. And then I was sitting with her a few years ago, and then she said to me, she goes, oh, that's my karma. And I said, really? Like, you know, now she understood what karma was, and then, you know, and she was saying, oh, that's my karma, and I did something, and then like that. So she was becoming enlightened. So you have to decide what you want. If you need help, what's that, one of those companies that sells the health products?
Just do it.
Yeah, that's Nike.
Ambi?
It's one of them. It says, lose weight now, show me how, or something. That's the motto, something like that. I can't remember which one it is, but Nutrimedics or something like that. So it's like that. You know, if you want spiritual enlightenment now, we'll show you how.
So there's been so many distractions in life with day-to-day things.
Yeah, so start removing the distractions.
What makes people happy, and finding happiness in yourself. And this, do you know what I mean? Like, we're talking advertising and all that. Makes you happy. Yeah, right. Yeah, but that's just something.
Yeah, advertising. Yeah, so it's a distraction.
This is what makes you happy. This is what makes you happy.
Yeah, so everyone's telling you, the guru is telling you what makes you happy. So who's the main guru on the planet at the moment? No, that's... But who's the main guru on the planet at the moment? Oh, it's the television. That's the main guru, right? Everyone just goes, yes, Guru Dev. Whatever you say. Guru, you know, the television says, go here, do this, touch this, smell this, eat this, drink this, have this experience like that, just boom, 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 internet, whatever, just, it's all... So, first thing you do, this is what you do, I'll help you today, right? There's some free advice, right? I'll give this to you today. Go home, do you live in one-story house or two-story?
One story.
Yeah, have you got any friends who are two-story?
Yes.
Okay, this is important, right? Go home, get your television. Drive around to your friend with the two-story house. Go into the second story, go into the room and just drop the television. Then go back home, right? That's the beginning, right? Because you're listening to the wrong guru. They're brainwashing you. Everyone's brainwashed these days. Whatever it says, oh, it must be good because everyone's doing it. It's not good. Look at the result of society. Hands up if you think society is progressive and peaceful and going in the right direction. One girl, very good. How old is she?
She just turned
5. Yeah, so she's optimistic because she's 5. And that's good. That's actually good because I've had kids her age who are not optimistic. You know, so at least that's fantastic. You know, if her parents have got her optimistic, you know, when she comes back here in 15 years and hears the lecture, she's going to be not putting her hand up. Keep putting your hand up for as long as you can. Right? So we're being brainwashed as a society. This is good, you should do this, you should live like this, like that. And society's not working. For God's sake, it's not working. Yeah, and then, you know, who do they put in power? You know, then Donald gets in power. You know, what's his name? Donald Duck. Trump or... You know, and then he put him in power. Like, he doesn't actually know what to do. He doesn't actually. He's well-intended. He thinks he's well-intended. Some of the things he says are very sensible, because I've heard a lot of people just bag him completely. I've listened to ways that some things he says are very sensible, other things are totally ludicrous and ridiculous, right? He's not like totally bad, he's just, you know, but he doesn't actually know how to fix things. He doesn't actually know. So we need to listen, and that's what I did as a Hare Krishna, okay? Looked around the world, okay, mainstream, that wasn't working, so I just rejected that. So I went to the East to look for Eastern philosophy, because I saw that was deeper than Western thought and philosophy. Went to the East, started reading everything, looking at everything. The most enlightened person that I read, from all the teachers I read, was Prabhupada, the founder of the Hare Krishna. When I read his books, I thought, yes, this is resonating. This person understands the truth. Right? If you look in our shop in the back, I'm going to give hands up if you're here for the first time. Or second time. Or third time. You can get one of these for free. This is like it's a magazine we produced last year. The Hare Krishna movement is 50 years old. Now it's 51 or 52, like that. So this is a magazine, it's like an overview. So if you're here for the first time, if you haven't got it, just come up afterwards and you can take one of these. So you can read these books, or if you go to our shop, we have so many books about spiritual enlightenment and spiritual knowledge. Take them, read them, get the guidance. And then if you have the questions, we're here to help, we're here to ask, right, and put you in the right direction. So the answer is you have to find what you want. Right? In my life, I'm very clear about what I want. Right? I could say I'm 100% clear. In my mind, in my heart, I want to be with Krishna again. Right? Now I've got to work out how to get back to him. That means I have to purify myself and become qualified to once again serve him. That's the challenge. But I'm very clear about what I want. And this is something that we all need to do. You need clarity in your goal. So work it out, whatever you want. If you need help, we're here. No? Or else go and speak to Donald Trump. Everyone wants to help, but you've got to choose who you want to listen to. That's the focus. Any other questions? Very good questions today. I feel very honoured to have all of you here. You've asked very good questions. Very satisfying.
Could you,
yeah.
During the readings,
yep.
Elaborate on like the first class man. Is that really as well?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, Prabhupada, he was born in 1896 and he was educated in the 1910s and the 1920s in Calcutta under the British education system. So the way he writes is very traditional. So he'll say like a first-class man. But, you know, I mean, the modern day we wouldn't say, we'd say first-class person, because back in the old British ways, that's how they would write. So, yeah, it doesn't mean he's just talking about men. We're all first class and you're all second and third and economy. Fourth class means people who are... First class means the people who are enlightened. Fourth class means the people who are... they just work in this world and they don't think. That's fourth class. We don't want to be fourth class. It means what we're talking about before. It's called, in Sanskrit, it's called Shudra. Shudra means you just work all the time. You don't think what's life actually about. We don't want to be like that.
Is that kind of like the bhakti and the yogis? Is that the same thing?
To a degree. Yeah, to a degree. But it means that we have to be first class. It means you have to think about what you're doing and what the ultimate goal of life is and act on that platform. The problem is these days people just do everything. They don't think. You know, people don't question anymore. They don't question anything.
They just go with it. They don't think for themselves.
Yeah, just because they're doing it. Like if you go to the shops, right? If you say you go to Coles or Woolworths, the major supermarkets, most of the food is processed. Now they're beginning to tell us processed food gives you diseases. It's by definition, it's not food. By definition, food means whole grain. You know, now we have this whole food movement. These days, it's like, oh, it's a whole food movement. You have to go to the shop and pay extra to get whole food, right? 50 years ago, 100 years ago, everything was whole food. There was no such thing as processed food. Now we go, anything you eat which is processed, the more ingredients it's got means the worse it is for you. And most of the diseases people have got, including mental problems, is because of the food they're eating.
The chemicals and stuff.
The chemicals and stuff makes people imbalanced. So, but we just go along. We grow up and we think, oh, I go to the supermarket, buy a packet of whatever, and we think that's okay. It's not okay because we're not enlightened, we're not educated. So now we're beginning to understand these things and learn these things. This is what we're teaching to people. Right? So, you know, it's people just, the way we don't question things anymore, it's the problem. Right? So to become a Hare Krishna, you have to be a bit of a rebel. Hands up if you like being a bit of a rebel. Okay, I'll ask it again. This is not good. Hands up if you like being a bit of a rebel. That's better. Go on, go. Hands up if you like being a bit of a rebel. You have to be a bit of a rebel. Being a bit of a rebel is good. Right? I've been a rebel my whole life. You know, when I was at school, you know, all my friends would smoke, you know, cigarettes, because that's what you do when you're a teenager. Everyone started. I never did it. Yeah, I was at like, you know, I was like the outsider. But I said, I'm not going to do that. Why? Because I'd been told by someone, then my dad told me, he said, this is not good for you. So, oh, okay, so what am I going to do? A lot of peer pressure, but I wouldn't crumble. Right? But you have to be like that to be successful. And to be a Hare Krishna, you have to be a bit of a rebel. Right? You have to say, I'm not going to follow the mainstream. I'm not going to smoke cigarettes. I'm not going to do all the things that we do. You have to be a little bit, and you have to be strong, and you have to be convinced. I was listening recently to this guy, he's like a guru, and he said, someone asked, he said, what if you're not confident? Does anyone suffer with lack of confidence? No one. Okay, that's good. Okay, I'll ask again. Does anyone suffer with lack of confidence? Yeah, we all do. Sometimes I feel like I lack confidence, you know, I'm scared to do this. You know, I appear very confident externally, but sometimes I feel very self-doubting. That's natural, we all feel like that. But he said, it was very interesting what he said. He said, okay, we suffer from self-confidence, but that's not really a problem. The problem is lack of conviction. Because when you're convinced about something, confidence goes up and down all the time. But if you're convinced, your moral compass is set on the point, you will go to that point no matter what. Yeah, so you just have to be fixed on this. You have to work out what, like we're saying, you have to work out what's right, and then you just go. Right? Because when I became a Hare Krishna, no one, you know, my grandmother, my mother, no one said, oh, fantastic. Yeah, go on, do it. They all tried to dissuade me. My mum had her friends ringing me up. What are you doing to your mother? Wow. And I was like, oh my God. Yeah. And I said to them, I said, I'm going to do what I'm going to do. You know, so we have to become fixed in our mind, our consciousness. Right. And then, you know, if this is the right thing, then we'll get the right goal.
Can't you vision just like you set up the goal, you focus on the goal, and you just become very strong-headed?
Strong-minded. It means you're fixed on what the goal is.
Yeah.
Like that. Because if you listen to the outside, in other words, you've got to follow your guru. You know, I know my guru is, I have 100% conviction that what he is teaching is pure, it is correct, and it will take me to the highest level of happiness. And I'm following him now, and it's working. I feel happy, I feel like I'm on the right path. Okay, so okay.
And I think that we've all got our own moral compass within us, our own little guru.
Yep.
So if you slow down and you ask yourself a question, you know yes or no. You know if your gut is happy with your whatever you think or is not. Like that's, if you make a wrong decision, you go against what your gut or your inner self is telling you, you'll get sick, you'll go down the wrong path, you'll become someone who you're not meant to be. I think there is that already a guiding force within us, but we don't slow down and listen to that enough.
Yeah, it's true. There is a guiding force within us.
Yeah,
there is a guiding force.
A good one.
Yeah.
And when you go against that, that's when you get sick. That's when you.
But just to clarify as well, there is a guiding force within us. It's actually Krishna, it's God. He's actually.
That's what I think.
Yeah, you're correct.
Yeah.
But.
I didn't want to say Krishna.
That's okay. You can say.
Universal good person.
Yeah, universal good
What
person.
you call them.
Yeah. So we're talking about the same thing. So that's there.
Yeah.
But there's one thing that has to be clarified. That is there, and that guiding principle is there. But you still need a guru to check, because sometimes our mind gets in between what's right here and what is actually correct. And we tend to, how do you say it? What's that?
Accommodate.
accommodate or adulterate, or we tend to, I'm just trying to think of the word, but what is it?
Convince ourselves of something that's
You could bullshit to yourself.
Yeah, basically, yes.
Yeah.
So the point is that your heart, yes, technically, if you were actually in contact with Krishna, God, like that, you would technically be able to live with correct guidance, usually, but the mind gets in the way. So as that pure teaching comes out, the mind adulterates, there's a word, distorts it, yeah, like that. It comes in and it makes it confusing sometimes. So sometimes people, I've even seen Hare Krishna people, they're convinced they're right on something, and they're like that, but everyone else is looking at them saying, you're crazy. This is completely wrong. So therefore, you always have to have a guide, or in Sanskrit we say guru. You must. Because even when you're completely convinced, I mean, I even know myself in the past, I was really convinced something was right, but then when I asked my guru, he just said, are you serious? This is completely not right. This should be the other way. So we need that, we always have to have a checking point external to myself. And my guru told me one time, I remember, he said, I don't trust any one person's judgment, including my own. That was my guru who said that. He said, you must always check. You must always check. So technically, yes, it's right. Most of us know
a lot of time, I know if I've gone the wrong way, it's like, because I didn't,
it's like,
ignored me.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's so we have a basic understanding. Like, I know if I throw that cup through that window right now, I know that's not good. Right? But then someone will think, no, that is good. The mind will intercede and you'll do it, and you say, yeah, that was great. And then we'll be looking at, what did you just do? So people think like that. So if I had a guru, I picked up the cup and about to throw it through the window, and my guru says, that's not really what you should be doing right now. It's not the best use of your energy. So the point is we need guidance. That's the point. Thank you very much. So if you'd like a magazine, please come and get. Please give a donation. Like that. It costs us a lot of money to put this on, to feed all of you. So if you feel generous and you'd like to contribute, put a donation there. Please take one of these magazines. And if you're hungry, please go to the next room and we'll give you a wonderful meal. If you're not hungry, we'll see you next time. Hare Krishna.